the whole scene's changing rapidly, and I've heard you a couple of times on radio talking about this, where you've now got the market is about to be flooded with Chinese electric vehicles. Now, as far as I can work out, they're being sold here cheaper than they're being sold in places like the US and Europe. What are the Chinese up to with this sudden huge numbers of electric vehicles being shipped to Australia?
Well, it's not just electric vehicles, it's vehicles generally. China has identified Australia, as the South Koreans did and as the Japanese did. It's a very good test market because we're like a mini version of the USA. So lots of people do their test marketing here. The other thing is nobody can get to the bottom of what the actual free FOB cost of one of these Chinese vehicles is at the port. There's all sorts of talk about below-the-line subsidies on things like energy costs for vehicles that are exported. So we don't know what the real price is, but when the Chinese brands can start a price fight like they have just recently, and in fact, Tesla, because most of the Tesla sold here are made in China, what's the real price of these things? The other problem is if you've just bought a new Tesla and 6 months later they drop the retail price by $7,000, you've got to ask yourself what's going on. But by my count, there'll be 5 or 6 extra new Chinese brands on Australian soil selling here before the end of the year. And I've got a long-term forecast for a mate of mine who's worked for a long time as an importer. He said there could be 40 or 50 Chinese brands here by the turn of the decade.
We're already overrepresented in the number of the different types of vehicles we can buy. Just concentrate on one of these things, the BYD EV, $50,000.
Yeah.
Any good?
Yep. It's okay. Is it any
okay.
good? Look, there are... Well, the thing about it is it's a transport mod. You know, for people who just want a transport module and are looking to do something electric, it's okay. But the fact of the matter is we don't know what the reliability of these things will be like in Australia. We don't know what the quality is going to be like. I can tell you lots and lots of cases, just one small thing. UV light in Australia is one of the very highest anywhere in the world, even higher than Dubai and the Middle East. And it breaks down the paint. Now, we haven't had these cars here long enough to know if they understand what their paint's got to put up with, what are the interiors got to put up with. And that's without worrying about the potholes that seem to be breeding all across Australia at the moment. Every second day I get a note from somebody who's just had a flat tyre from a pothole somewhere in the country. We don't know how these cars are going to cope.